strangled groan as she wrote it out. She struggled to catch her breath as fingers gradually slowed. Marinette vaguely wondered if she should be more bothered by the fact that she had just finished touching herself while fantasizing about Chat Noir. He sure hadn't been the boy she had intended to imagine kissing her torridly as he brought her to climax. On the other hand, fantasizing about Chat Noir didn't do him, or her, any harm, just as Tiki had said. It wasn't like Chat Noir could read her mind and know she had been thinking about the two of them doing those kinds of things together. Sexual fantasies were perfectly normal, she was just using her imagination to enhance the mood of her solo session. In fact, she realized, she had been more frustrated about the fact that her thoughts of Chat Noir had interrupted her thoughts of Adrian more than the fact that she had thought of Chat Noir in the first place. Sure, she was surprised that it hadn't felt more awkward to think of Chat Noir that way, but the fantasy itself, it had worked. And that got her thinking. I can make educated guesses about what kind of a lover Adrian would be, just from what I know about his personality, she thought. But Chat Noir's actually shown me a little bit of his romantic side. I know now how he kisses the girl he loves for the first time. I know what it feels like to have him embrace me, and cup my face in his hands, and caress my cheek, and look at me with love in his eyes. It's only a glimpse, but it shows how he expresses affection. She felt her heart throb at the thought, and she shivered, her breath shuddering. I love Adrian, and I want to be with him, but he hasn't shown me how he feels about me. If he loves me, or could love me if he knew how I felt about him, I don't know. But I do know how Chat Noir feels. He showed me, and I felt happy. Really happy. And I felt so happy seeing how happy I made him feel. And when I see him again, I want to make him even happier. I want to share more with him. More hugs, more kisses, more touches, but also. Marinette's brow furrowed as she stared up at her skylight. She felt like her heart was swelling up with too many emotions for it to contain. I want to know him better, we've been through so much together, and I've always cared about him a lot, and yet, we only ever see each other when we have to fight Hawkmoth's latest supervillain. We fight together, we save the day, then we go. I'd like to say I consider him my friend, but we don't do anything together that normal friends do, or know things about each other that normal friends know, like birthdays, or hobbies, or our dreams for the future. Marinette sat up suddenly, staring wide-eyed at nothing. Could we actually end up defeating Hawkmoth someday without ever getting to know each other beyond our superhero identities? I don't want that. That wouldn't be fair. Marinette scrambled to put her clothes back on, and then called for the one person she could talk to about her new feelings and revelations. Tiki. She called softly. Tiki came zooming up from down below, where she had no doubt been patiently hiding under the decorative pillow on the chaise. Yes. What's the matter, Marinette? She asked, noticing Marinette's look of distress. Marinette hesitated, not sure how to express her feelings out loud. I was thinking about Chat Noir, and, well, you really want to see him again? Tiki guessed, smiling kindly. Well, yes, I do, but, Marinette searched for the right words. They finally came to her, seemingly out of nowhere, and they took her so much by surprise that she gasped just loud enough for Tiki to hear. Marinette. I. I don't think I'm scared of the mating cycle anymore, she finally said. I was really happy to hear that Chat Noir loved me, she continued hesitantly. And I liked kissing him, like, lot. And I feel like I want more. I mean, I want to see more sides of him. I want to, she paused. To consider her words, these new feelings were hard to translate. Share more with him, if that makes sense. I'm curious, no, intrigued, about him. And she trailed off, glancing up nervously at Tiki. Tiki, will I never know who he is, even after we defeat Hawkmoth? I, I don't want to lose him as a friend, or whatever we are. Marinette wasn't sure what kind of reaction she expected from Tiki, but it certainly wasn't a beaming smile. Maybe is more than a friend, she asked gently, tilting her head. Marinette opened her mouth to respond, but Tiki added, "It's fine to love more than one person at a time that way, Marinette." I. I. Marinette felt conflicted. Is Tiki right? She wondered. Could I be falling in love with Chat Noir? But the mating cycle. But what about my mating cycle? She asked. Could it just be my mating cycle that's making me feel this way? The thought, she found, actually made her feel sad. Well, think about it for a moment, Tiki said encouragingly. Are you just drawn to him physically? Do you feel like you only want him sexually? Or do you want more than that with him? No, Marinette's eyes widened slightly with the revelation now washing over her. She stared in amazement at Tiki, who was staring back expectantly with a gentle smile. I. I really want to know him, Marinette confessed. If we could be more than partners, and more than friends, she cut herself off and took a shaky breath, too scared and uncertain to finish her sentence. I still love Adrien, and I still want him to fall in love with me, but Chat Noir. We've been through so much, and he's always been there for me, and he's selfless, and brave, and I don't know how else to say it, he's just a sweetheart. I know now more than ever. How? Marinette stopped to catch her breath, letting out a huff and feeling a little overwhelmed. Quote dot dot dot. How loving he is, her voice cracked on the word, loving. I. I want to see more of that. I want to feel more of that, it makes me so happy, and it's so obvious how happy I make him. What? I felt when I was with him last time when we kissed, she whimpered and covered her face with her hands. I loved every minute of it. There was a moment of silence. Tiki waited patiently for Marinette to continue. She finally separated her fingers enough to peek at Tiki. Tiki, do you think, am I falling in love with him? Still smiling, Tiki hovered closer and waved a paw in a reassuring, there, gesture. Only you can know the answer to that, she said gently. And you don't have to know for sure. Right now. But this is a big could be, and you just might find the love of the life. Marinette stared back at Tiki with her eyes still wide and her mouth slack. She almost couldn't believe this conversation was actually happening. Chat Noir, possibly the love of her life. But, what about Adrien? She asked timidly. Keep trying to get to know him better, too. Tiki chirped brightly. You don't have to give up on him. If you want to eventually figure out which one you'll commit yourself to, you have to see how you really feel with each of them. It's not cheating if you haven't made the relationship exclusive, right? But, could I really do that? Date Adrien as Marinette, and see what Chat Noir and I could be as Ladybug. Tiki looked more serious, but still encouraging. I'm not saying it'll be easy, or that it won't put your identity at risk, but the thing is, Marinette, Tiki gave her cheek a comforting pat. The mating cycle is already going to make it harder to keep your true identity secret from Chat Noir, because, well, Tiki gave an apologetic smile, and Marinette instantly heard alarm bells go off inside her head. Your costumes aren't designed to let you two take them off without changing back to normal, so you won't be able to have sex with your mask still on. Marinette groaned loudly and keeled over backward, hitting her head on the bookshelf at the head of her bed and yelping in pain. Are you okay? Tiki squeaked in alarm. Marinette sat up, rubbing the back of her head. Yeah, nothing new for Marinette the super klutz, she grumbled. She looked up at Tiki. Again. Do you think we will end up having sex, then? She whined, slightly horrified. It's too early to make assumptions like that, Tiki assured her. But, you two did kiss twice. After your first mission together after you two went into heat, she added teasingly. And this was only 2 days after I told you spending more time together would worsen your symptoms. So, you're saying, we're weak for each other. Marinette croaked. Well, with you two being in heat, that kind of goes without saying, a little bit. Tiki answered. I would say that in addition to that, you two in particular have a lot of chemistry together. You know what I mean. Kind of. Marinette hedged. I always thought it felt like I'd known him forever, even though we've barely known each other for a year now. And we just seemed to figure out the teamwork thing automatically, almost like it was instinct, or like we think on the same wavelength. Is that actually a thing? Yes, it is. Tiki said happily. Your personalities complement each other. So working together comes naturally to both of you. Marinette smiled. Yeah, I guess that's true. So, do you know what you'll do next time you see Chat Noir? Tiki asked. Marinette thought for a moment. Marinette looked up at Tiki, took a deep breath, and smiled bravely. I'll tell him. I want to see where this goes. I want to share more with him. Tiki beamed at her. That's the spirit, she praised. Just be careful not to lose your head around him. Follow your heart, but don't forget to think carefully with your head, too, okay? Thanks, Tiki, Marinette said, scooping Tiki out of the air and touching a kiss to the Kwamis. Tiny head. I promise.